today I want to talk a little bit about family relationships, as I mentioned in the last video. Also, somebody commented on the video and wanted to know a little bit about the blessings and gifts I've received as a result of being sober. And that is a long list of all the things that have changed in my life that I'm so grateful for as a result of getting sober. I wanted to mention that though, just because reestablishing my family relationships and my friendships is a huge part of my recovery. It's something that keeps me motivated because I'm so grateful to have those relationships back in my life again. It's something that keeps me accountable and on the right path. Um, but that dynamic is affected through drug addiction. When you're in active drug addiction, all of your time goes to chasing the high, chasing the drugs. You can't be there for the people emotionally like you would be before you entered drug addiction. And so you know it's hard as an addict because you kind of you decide to get sober and you expect everything to just go back to the way that things were before your drug addiction, but they can't. You've hurt a lot of people. You've most likely lied, stolen. um, you've missed Christmas parties, birthdays, graduations. One of my biggest regrets in my addiction was that I wasn't able to go to my little sister's college graduation because I was using. You know, I was getting high and I didn't have enough drugs to make it all the way to California and be there for those couple days and make it back. So I ended up having to wait to get the drugs. And by the time I got the drugs, I didn't have enough time to get there. And so I canceled on everybody last second. People were expecting me to be there and I wasn't. Especially my little sister. I love her to death and I want to give her support. Um, and so, but as a result of my use, I wasn't able to be there, and it really messed with my head. But it's a twofold perspective. This whole thing. So there's that person that's going through the active drug addiction, and then there's the family that is affected by your lying and your stealing and whatever. You're not making it to the major family events that you're supposed to be to, or not fulfilling your obligations, or not paying your rent and having to have people support you just for you to continue to make bad decisions. You know, but it's important to understand what each other needs. So when someone is using, you have to realize the person that's using that, you weren't able to be there for those people emotionally, and you haven't been a good family member, and you haven't been a good friend, and it's been uh the dynamic in the relationship has been very selfish, um because you expect people to still be there for you even though you're not able to be there for them. And especially right when you get sober, it's like, hey, I'm finally doing well. um, I just want things to go back to the way they were, but that's not really fair because you spent a lot of time not being there for them. And so, and as bad as things were for you going through the addiction, they were affected too, and it's important to remember that. um, so, I want to talk a little bit about what it's like kind of asking for help, and when you finally reach out, and um, what you need as the addict. You have to have people in your corner. Yeah, and you have to be willing to be honest. It's not easy, but you kind of have to come to terms with some of the things you've done or some of the people that you've let down, and you're going to have to understand that people are going to be upset by that. And on the flip side, the people that you're reaching out to, you have to understand that the person was going through a lot and that they weren't able to be there. It's not that they didn't care or they didn't want to be there for you. It's that they literally were sick and they weren't able to be there for you, as much as they may have wanted to. And I'm sure there were times it didn't seem like they wanted to be, but I promise you that they did. It just, drug addiction is a very powerful thing. So, I've been really lucky and blessed to have a really great family who's been there to support me. And I know everybody doesn't have that. So I don't, I don't want to downplay how much easier it has made this transition for me. But if you're in active addiction, you're gonna have to find people that, and I hope it's your family or a good group of friends, or meetings at AA. You're gonna have to find a good group of people that are gonna be there to support you, because you're gonna need help at times to get through it. And there's gonna be tough days, but you can get through. But you need support. Um, and the other thing I want to mention is that it may take some patience, and love and understanding. I think leading with love and understanding is really the way to go about it on both sides. If you're the person in active addiction, you know, it it's hard to not be selfish because addiction is a selfish thing, and you get sober, you're wanting to get sober, and people that you ask to be there to support you, whether it's financially or getting you to treatment or whatever, they've been through the ringer with you, they've dealt with your lies, and you know you have to understand that people are going to be a little bit hesitant to help you because of all the past history. But you can't let that get you down. You have to stay focused and just say, I understand that I haven't been able to be there for however long. For me, it was 10 years, where I've been really disconnected and out of touch with the people that mean a lot to me. And so for me to expect them to just act like everything is back to normal is not fair. Whatever they need from me, it's important for me to respect that. They have to set boundaries. And if you're someone trying to support an addict, I think it's really important that you do set boundaries as well, both for your safety and theirs. You have to make sure that they're doing the right things. If you're going to be willing to help them, they have to be willing to help themselves before you're able to really help them. But just, I think leading with love and understanding and saying that, we've both been through a lot. I'm trying to get better. And I would appreciate your support in whatever capacity you're able to do so, in whatever capacity you feel comfortable doing so. And so, if you're out there and you're struggling and you think that your family's reacting harshly towards you, or that they haven't done the right thing to support you all the time. Understand that it's hard. It's hard for them too. This whole addiction is not just affecting us, it's affecting them. And I think that the more you can empathize with what they are going through, the better off you'll be, because part of that is being honest with yourself about whether or not you've been able to be a good friend or a family member. And the answer is more likely no. So as harsh as they may seem, or not understand, or as difficult as it is for them to understand what you're going through, you have to empathize with them, because you more than likely put people through the ringer. um, I know for me that I did, and I stole from my family, I lied, I didn't show up to Christmases, party, all sorts of things because of my addiction, and I was very selfish. And so now I'm grateful for whatever support I do get, and I get a lot, and I get a lot of support, and so I can't really complain about anything like that. But I know that not every family is like mine, and it may take people a little bit longer to come around in other situations. So just be patient, and I think on both sides that's the case. Like, if you have to be patient with the addict, they're not going to be able to change everything overnight. They're not going to be able to just get right on their feet. They're going to need some help. um, but just being open and completely 100% honest with your feelings and your emotions and how things are being handled are very important. Just so that everybody feels good about what's going on. You're helping yourself in order to, um, and you have to be able to, in order to expect somebody to help you as well. You have to be willing to do your part. Um, but I don't think that rehashing the past is a way to do it. That's something that can come with time. You kind of just got to meet each other where you're at. I'm trying to get sober now, and I'm sorry for the things that I've done. Maybe we can talk about those things later, but you know right now, I just need love, and I think that as long as you lead with honesty, that everything will work out. From the family's perspective, you just have to be willing to sweep a few things under the rug for a while. It may be triggering to talk about some of the things that the person's done in the past, and that's not what they need fresh out of recovery. They need just to know that love is there and the support is there, and but that you have boundaries and that you do have certain expectations. um, if they're going to receive your help. And if they don't meet those, you have to be willing to pull the help. And if they pull the help because you didn't um, do your part, then you have to understand that too. You can't live like we were in active addiction, which is selfish, and then from a victim's mentality. We have to be accountable for the things we've done and understand that those things did affect other people. But over time, if you're honest and you're understanding and empathize with each other, those relationships can be reestablished. And I think it's important to know that as we come out of this addiction, patience is important. But we can reestablish those family relationships if we're understanding of them, and that they need time to build the trust back. So anyway, it's there's a lot to that, and I just wanted to give a brief little talk on it. But anybody out there that is struggling, please know that it is possible to get better. I know how dark addiction can be. I've been there. I've been in some really dark spaces, mentally and emotionally, but it is possible to crawl out of those places. You still I know you've got big dreams, and that there's a better life out there for you, but it takes courage to ask for help to get there. But it is possible. I never thought that I was going to be able to get to 75 days or 76 days, whatever it is today, of sobriety. And I didn't know how I was going to make it one day, let alone 75 days. So it takes work. It takes honesty. You have to face some things you don't want to face, especially with your family. But being honest is the only way to get through it. And it is a challenging road, but you can do it, and you can still live a better life. A better life is out there for you, and it's not too late to conquer and go after your dreams. So I hope this talk was helpful. I hope everybody gets a little bit out of it. You know, just remember love and understanding. Um, and honesty are like the three pillars that I would say are key in keeping a healthy and family dynamic while someone's in active addiction and through recovery. Um, and to just try to be empathetic of each other, it goes a long way. So hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody leaves. They can get out of whatever hole they're in and accomplish their dreams. Next time, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the blessings I received since entering recovery more in depth. But much love, y'all. Have a wonderful Sunday. Peace.